Hello, welcome. For today's class, you'll need 2 blocks if you have them. 1 block can work. If you don't have any blocks at all, you can grab a big book or any other thing that's pretty sturdy that you can put your hands on with some weight. You'll also need something to squeeze, so you could use a pillow if you don't have a block, and you can fold that pillow in half or roll it up. You'll also need padding for your knees, especially if your knees are tweaky. I use a rubber mat. You can use a blanket, and you'll just put the blanket or even a throw pillow underneath your knee if you need to, or both knees. For those who have tweaky shoulders, you might also want either a yoga strap. If you don't have a yoga strap, a scarf or a belt works. But if you don't have any of those, that's okay too. There are things when we get to where we might need that. There are ways to do it without the strap. So find your comfortable seated position, whatever that is for you. If you're not comfortable sitting directly on the floor, options: sit up on a block or a book. Place it underneath your sit bones and feel how that allows your low back to be a little more lifted, allows your hip flexors to have a little more space so the knees might come closer towards the floor. If that does not work, you can also sit up on a chair to begin with. You really want to get comfortable. This is the only way you'll be able to deepen your breath in a very soft way. The intent today is to feel your back, and we'll focus on where in the back, and make space there. So come into your Ujjayi breath, that oceanic whisper sounding breath. And as you inhale, run your breath from the bottom of the sacrum all the way up through the sacrum, the low back, the mid back, the upper back, through the tops of the shoulders. Not only lifting the breath up, but spreading the breath wide. Exhale, rinse the breath down from the shoulders all through the upper back, including the shoulder blades, the mid back, the low back, down into the sacrum, and even more into the pelvis, all the way through the tip of the tailbone. This time as you inhale, feel a little more deeply in your whole back, from shoulders down to even the tip of the tailbone, and feel for some spot in this space that you're willing to focus on throughout the duration of class, and that it might need a little more spaciousness. Spot can be wide, it can be small, but make sure that you're willing to focus on it. Take the next 2 breaths to really pick a spot. So if more than one spot seems very interesting, just choose one of them. If your spot is easily accessible with 1 or 2 hands, you can place your hand on a spot. If that's uncomfortable, don't do that. But if you'd like some sort of sensation touching your spot, an option is actually to come onto your back and feel the floor pressing into your spot. But you can do this with no pressure on your spot. Everyone, inhale, Send your breath softly into your spot. And as you exhale, use the breath to start opening up your spot. Make space. So throughout class, this is what you'll be doing, bringing your attention, your breath back into your spot to make space there. And it's okay if it doesn't feel like space is being created with every breath. It doesn't matter. Prioritize bringing your attention and your breath continually back to your spot. And the pranayama today is Kapalabhati. So I'm going to show this first. I'm going to stand, but you can stay seated. If you're pregnant, you're not doing this, but you can still watch, and then I'll give you what you'll do in a moment. So I'm going to put one hand on my belly. What Kapalabhati is short, sharp exhales through the nostrils. The inhale is passive. It also comes in through the nostrils. The belly puffs out on the inhale, but the belly pulls in on the exhale, like you're pumping your breath out. So that the hand is just to show you the movement of my belly. So it looks and sounds like this. So we're going to do that together. Bring your hands behind your hips on fingertips. If you're pregnant, options. Deep Ujjayi breaths, 3 each into the low back ribs, mid back ribs, upper back ribs, feeling for expanding all of your back ribs. Or if you know alternate nostril breathing, you can do that with no breath holds. The other thing you can do, a third option, is hands on your baby and breathe in there, feel the connection with your Ujjayi breath. Everyone else, squeeze your shoulder blades towards each other. Lift your chin so that the chin is parallel to the floor. Slide the back of the skull straight back, even with the back of your hips. Start with partial inhale. Short, sharp exhales until I tell you to stop. Keep pressing through your sit bones and your feet, lifting your ribs up. So even as you're pumping your belly, you're making space along your spine and thus in your spot. If you need to inhale, inhale, and then start Kapalabhati again. Exhale all the breath out. Then take a deep inhale, holding the breath at the top of the inhale. If you're not pregnant, hold the breath and just feel your breath swirling around. Already feel the space that you're gradually creating in your spot and along your spine. And then normally, slowly exhale all your breath out in your Ujjayi breath. Abdominals. So come onto your back, but grab your block or your pillow, bring it along with you. Lie on your backs. Place your block between your thighs. If you're pregnant, what you're doing is abless with a block, which is basically pelvic tilt, squeezing your block. So what you're doing is inhaling, spreading your back into the floor. Exhale, squeeze your sit bone muscles, slide your tailbone towards the back of the knees, squeeze your block, but relax your neck. Inhale, pubic bone moves forward away from the belly button. The low back, the top of the sacrum in particular, may lift off the floor slightly. Keep your back bottom ribs spreading into the floor. And you'll keep doing that following your own breath. Everyone else, clasp your hands behind the base of your skull. And everyone, activate your feet. Spread your toes, lift your toes. Inhale through the back ribs. Hold the breath. Scoop the tailbone up, squeeze your prop. Feel your legs activate. Exhale, lift the head and shoulders off of the floor and pull your low belly down. Inhale, shoulders and head to the floor. Hold the breath, scoop the tailbone up, squeeze your prop. Press into your active feet. Exhale, lift the head and shoulders off of the floor. Pull your low belly down. Inhale, shoulders and head to the floor. Hold the breath, scoop the tailbone up, squeeze your prop. Exhale, lift the head and shoulders up. Relax the front of your neck. Pull your low belly down. Inhale, shoulders and head to the floor. Hold the breath, scoop the tailbone up, squeeze your prop. Exhale, lift the head and shoulders up. Pull your low belly down. Inhale deeply through your spot and through the back ribs, head down. Hold the breath, scoop the tailbone up, squeeze your prop. Exhale, lift the head and shoulders off of the floor, pull your low belly down. Inhale, shoulders and head to the floor. Moving on to basic two-part twisting abs with a block. You're keeping your block on. If you're pregnant, you can continue abless with the block, but if you'd like, you could come up onto your hands and knees and do opposite leg arm extensions. Everyone else, press your low back into the floor. Press into your feet. Inhale, lift the head and shoulders off of the floor. Keep your head heavy. Hold the breath. Scoop the tailbone up. Squeeze your prop. Exhale, it's a tiny twist. Bring both elbows toward your left thigh. Pull your low belly down. Inhale, come back to center. Hold the breath. Spread the low back down. Scoop your tailbone up. Squeeze your prop. Exhale, scoop the tailbone up more as you bring your elbows towards your right thigh and pull your low belly down. Keep both hips on the floor. Inhale, come back to center. Hold the breath, scoop the tailbone up, squeeze your prop. Exhale, lift the head and shoulders up a little higher, both elbows towards your left thigh, pull your low belly down. Inhale, come back to center. Hold the breath, scoop the tailbone up, squeeze your prop. Exhale, lift the head and shoulders up a little higher, bring both elbows towards your right thigh, pull your low belly down. Inhale, come back to center. Hold the breath, scoop the tailbone up, squeeze your prop. Exhale, lift the head and shoulders a little higher, both elbows towards the left thigh without cranking your neck, pull your low belly down. Inhale deeply, come back to center. Hold the breath, scoop the tailbone up, squeeze your prop. Exhale, head and shoulders a little higher, both elbows towards your right thigh, pull your low belly down. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, bring the head back to the floor. Remove your block off to the side. Hands on your low belly so you can really feel there. Breathe in beneath your hands and feel. Let your exhale be long and deep, yet soft. And use your breath to connect into your spot as you feel the heat in your abdominal muscles. So you start expanding the range of your focus and your attention. Basic elbow to knee. Clasp your hands behind the base of your skull. If you're pregnant, you could join us keeping the head down and just doing the leg portion, but without pulling the belly down, no breath holds. Everyone press into your feet, but everybody else, inhale, lift the head and shoulders off of the floor. Hold the breath, spread the low back down, scoop your tailbone up. Exhale, elbows towards the left knee, knee directly over the hip. Activate your feet and pull your low belly down. Inhale, come back to center. Hold the breath, spread the low back down, scoop your tailbone up. Exhale, elbows towards the right knee directly over the hip, and pull your low belly towards the floor. Inhale deeply, come back to center. Hold the breath, spread the low back down, scoop your tailbone up. Exhale, elbows towards the left knee. Pull the low belly down. Inhale, come back to center. Hold the breath, spread the low back down, scoop your tailbone up. Exhale, elbows towards the right knee. Pull the low belly down. Breathe into your spot, make space in it, and come back to center. Hold the breath, spread the low back down, scoop your tailbone up. Exhale, elbows towards the left knee. Pull the low belly down. Inhale, come back to center. Hold the breath, spread the low back down, scoop your tailbone up. Exhale, elbows towards the right knee. Pull the low belly down. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, bring the head down just for a moment. Breathe and feel, assess. If that felt like it was your edge, repeat and continue with basic elbow to knee. But if you have further to go, bring the knees over the hips, feet lower than the line of the knees for regular elbow to knee. If you're pregnant, continue with feet on the floor, head on the floor, or you could stand up and do horse stance with shoulder shrugs or twisting horse. Everyone whose head is on the floor, except if you're pregnant, inhale, lift the head and shoulders off of the floor. Hold the breath, spread the low back down, scoop your tailbone up. Exhale, elbows towards the left knee. Bring the right leg straight up towards the ceiling and pull the low belly down. Inhale, come back to center. Hold the breath, spread the low back down, scoop the tailbone up. Knees come straight up. Exhale, elbows towards the right knee. Left leg, this time straight up towards the ceiling. Pull the low belly down. Inhale, come back to center. Hold the breath, spread the low back down, scoop your tailbone up. Exhale, elbows towards the right knee. Left leg straight up or out at a 45-degree angle. Pull the low belly down. Breathe through your spot as you come back to center. Hold the breath, spread the low back down, scoop the tailbone up. Exhale, rinse the breath through the spot. Both elbows towards your right knee. Left leg straight, pull the low belly down. Breathe in deeply, come back to center. Do the pose in a way that makes space along your spine and in your spot. Hold the breath, scoop the tailbone up. Exhale, elbows towards the left knee, right leg straight. Pull your low belly down. Breathe in deeply, come back to center. Hold the breath, spread the low back down, scoop your tailbone up. Exhale, elbows towards the right knee, left leg straight. Pull the low belly down. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, bring your head, bring your feet down. Breathe and feel. Then set up for bridge. If you're pregnant, you can rejoin us. Graze the backs of your heels with your longest fingertips. Feet parallel. Spread your toes. Relax your shoulder blades. And make sure that your head feels comfortable, your neck feels comfortable. So if your neck feels a little arched up, what you can do is a little self-assist. Take your fingers, the fingertips, bring them to the base of your neck, then slide your fingertips up your neck to the base of your skull. And the base of the skull makes like a little handle. Everyone breathe in. And if you're doing this, as you exhale, gently traction your skull away from the shoulders a little bit. And then the head should not come up a lot, like a 1/16 of an inch maybe. Then set the head back down. Make sure that your chin didn't then tuck down into your neck. Relax the shoulders again. Press into your feet. Spread your breath through the whole back to feel the back ribs expand. Exhale, pressing into the feet. Scoop the tailbone up. Lift your hips off of the floor. If your low back is crunchy here, lower the hips a tiny bit and work on squeezing your sit bone muscles, sliding your tailbone towards the back of the knees. If you have further, well, everyone, inhale, lift your sternum towards the chin. But if you do already feel spacious, as you exhale, press into your feet, scoop the tailbone up, and then lift your hips up a little higher. Breathe through the back ribs. And notice how they don't have that much space to really open up in this pose. It's the front body that really has the luxury of opening up here. But as you exhale, rinse the breath through your back ribs, and you might feel that it's easier to get them in one part than the other. And if that's the case, just feel for sending your breath there, using your breath and using the pressing into your feet, lifting the sternum up to make more and more space along the back body, your back ribs. Take a deep, spacious inhale. Send the breath into the center of your back ribs, using the breath to push your front ribs towards the chin. Then we're going to come down slowly with a long exhale. Exhale, push into the feet. Almost squeeze the feet towards your armpits. Scooping the tailbone up. Come down in increments. Upper back, mid back, low back. Then your tailbone on the floor. Back release pose, hands on your thighs, heels of the hands in your hip creases. Inhale, breath into your back ribs. Exhale, press forward with your hands, straightening the arms if available. And also notice how you can gently press up on the thighs to make a little space, not only in your back, but in your hip flexors. There's connection there. Some of you might want to scoop your tailbone towards the back of the knees. Others may feel more spacious by letting the pubic bone move forward away from the belly button, only a tiny bit. The low back is not lifting all that much away from the floor, if at all. Gently release, then turn over to your sides, pressing into the hands, slowly press up to sit. Come on to your hands and knees. Let's do some cat-cows. Take a sip of water. If your knees don't like to be on the floor, put your blanket underneath them. That's option one. Option two, if that does not work, is cat-cows in a modified chair like this. That's inhale, belly and chest forward. Exhale, round the back towards the back of your mat. Everyone else, on hands and knees, wrists right underneath the shoulders. Spread your fingers wide, spread your thumbs wide. We're gonna add the foot moves here. So tuck your toes, inhale, drape the belly, pull the chest forward, press into your feet, press into your hands. Exhale, tops of the feet on the floor, round the back towards the ceiling, pull the belly in, keep pressing through your hands. Inhale, tuck the toes, pull the chest between your armpits. Exhale, round the back towards the ceiling. Press into the tops of the feet so you feel pressure coming away from your knees. Inhale, same here. Press so much into the toes that you take some pressure away from your knees. Continue 2 more full breaths, which is an inhale and an exhale. Turbo puppy. Walk your hands forward 4 inches. Keep your hands as wide as your shoulders or slightly wider. For some guys in particular, if you have very built broad shoulders, your hands might actually need to be several inches wider than your shoulders. Everyone relax your neck. If your knees are uncomfortable on the floor, you're doing the same thing but on the wall, standing up in front of the wall. I'm not standing and I don't have a wall here, I'm pantomiming. But you're working on bending the elbows, pressing into your wall and wrapping your shoulder blades. Everyone else, hands are on the floor. Breathe into your upper back. Exhale, slide the outer edges of your armpit, or shoulder blades rather, towards the armpits and isometrically squeeze your elbows towards each other. Breathe into your spot. Notice and feel how this pose affects your spot, affects your breath. It may be easier to get your breath into your spot, or it may be a little more difficult. Feel. And if it's easier, take that as an advantage. Use it. Spread your breath through your spot to make space. If it's more difficult, feel for getting really clever and feeling for another way to send a breath into your spot. Maybe it's through the side ribs. Down dog. First, straighten your arms. Keep wrapping your shoulder blades. If you hyperextend through the elbows, you're micro bending your elbows. Everyone breathe into the upper back. Exhale, wrap the shoulder blades towards the armpits and then lift the hips towards the ceiling. You can keep the knees bent quite a bit here if that's better for your hamstrings or your low back or both. Or you can work on straightening the knees. The heels do not need to touch the floor. Push down through the heels, even if you're bending your knees. Inhale through the upper back. Exhale, push into the hands, wrap the shoulder blades towards the armpits. Take some weight out of your shoulder joints. We're gonna walk forward, so bend your knees first. Keep pushing into your hands. Slightly walk forward as far as you can. If that does not work for you, bring your knees down and come up in a way that feels very supportive. Once you're in your forward fold, don't straighten your legs. Keep your knees bent, hips way back, almost like you're about to fall backwards. Relax your neck. We're gonna come up with a supported rolling up, hands on your thighs. Inhale, keep the head hanging. Keep the hands on the thighs, push into them, roll up, keep the knees bending until you're almost all the way up. Keep pressing through your feet. That's a way to come up supporting your back, especially those who've got low back issues. Basic Uddiyana. If you're pregnant, options: come into your horse stance, back traction. You could do twisting horse like this, or shoulder shrugs, if you remember that. If that does not work for you, you could forward fold in a straddle forward fold. Everyone else, we're gonna do basic Uddiyana. If you need a review, stop this video and go back to the pranayama video that instructs Uddiyana and then join us back here. Everyone else, bend your knees, hands on your thighs. You're already coming into a back traction. Press into your hands to straighten your arms as much as is available. Take a partial inhale in. Exhale forcefully, all the breath out, get empty. Stay empty. Suction your belly back and up towards the spine, using that pulling the belly in to push your chest away from the waist. Don't inhale. But when you do need to inhale, let your belly go first. Breathe in. 2 more like that on your own. When you're done, press into your feet, press into your hands, stand up. Come to the front of the mat. Time for sun salutations. We're gonna do modified suns using blocks. So come onto your hands and knees, hands on your blocks. Step your left foot forward for lunge. Walk your right foot back if you have further to go. So you come into a longer lunge. You may need to pad your right knee if that knee is tweaky. If the left knee hurts, make sure that the left ankle stays underneath the knee. Otherwise, you can bend your knee quite far forward as long as your left heel stays pressing into the floor. Keep the hands on the block so you have something else to push with. Push into your feet and your hands. Inhale, telescope the ribs away from the waist. Make space through the spine and then feel how it affects your spot. Exhale, squeeze your right sit bone muscle down the back of the thigh. Plank pose. Push into your left foot to bring the knee over the ankle, blocks out of the way. Then hands down. Inhale, step back into your plank. Keep the shoulders over your wrists. Pull the belly in, pull your front bottom ribs in. Lower just the knees. Squeeze the sit bone muscles down the backs of the thighs. Shoulder blades away from the ears. We're gonna come down very slowly. Press into the tops of the feet. Exhale, pull the chest forward between your armpits, between the upper arms, shoulders away from the ears. Yeah, lower all the way down. Low cobra. If you're pregnant, don't come all the way down. Or if you did, come back up. Options. Baby camel, which is more about telescoping the ribs and squeezing your sit bone muscles, getting the tailbone sliding down, lengthening your low back. Or chest opener, squeezing your hands behind the hips. Or opposite, leg arm extensions, keeping the hips parallel. Everyone else, you have a nice rest on your belly. Come into low cobra. Bring the elbows underneath the shoulders, starting in Sphinx first. Press the pubic bone into the floor, press through the thighs and the feet. Inhale, pressing into the hands, pull your chest forward and up, elbows 2 inches off the floor. Drag the chest forward, exhale, lower down. Hands beneath the shoulders, tuck your toes, exhale, tabletop or down dog. Lunge, inhale, lightly step your left foot forward, grab your blocks. Pad your right knee if you need to. Push into your hands and your feet. Inhale, telescope the ribs up. Exhale, squeeze that right sit bone muscle down the back of the right thigh. Then step your left foot back. So you're in this modified tabletop. Keep your hands on the blocks. Step your right foot forward. Make the adjustments you need to that work for your knees and your hips. Keep the right heel pressing into the floor. Pad the left knee if you need to. Keep the hands on the blocks. Inhale, telescope the ribs away from the waist. Exhale, squeeze the left sit bone muscle down the back of the thigh. This allows your tailbone to start pulling down a little bit so that you're lengthening your low back. Plank, hands to the floor. Exhale, step back. You can step through hands and knees first, then tuck your toes, lift your knees if that's better for you. Or step directly back into your plank. Pull your belly in, squeeze the sit bone muscles down the backs of your thighs. Squeeze your legs toward each other. Inhale deeply. Lower the knees. Exhale, lower down. Shoulder blades away from the ears. Shoulders away from the floor. Low cobra. Move your hands forward 12 inches. Curl the pubic bone towards the floor. Squeeze your sit bone muscles down the backs of the thighs. Inhale, drag your ribs forward, elbows 2 inches off the floor. Drag the ribs forward, lower down. Hands underneath the shoulders. Exhale, tabletop or down dog. Lunge, inhale, step your right foot forward. Grab your blocks. Sink your hips forward and down, and if you need to adjust your right foot, do that. Press into the top of the left knee, patting the left knee if you need it. Squeeze that left sit bone muscle down the back of the left thigh. Breathe in deeply. Everyone into the back bottom ribs. Exhale, squeeze the left sit bone muscle down the back of the left thigh. Get your left leg working, active, pressing into the floor. We're going to come into a modified forward fold. Keep your hands on the blocks. Tuck the back toes. Press into your right foot strongly. Lift that back knee. Inhale here. And as you exhale, step that left foot forward. Keep the knees bent. Hands on the blocks, but move them forward. Hips way back. We're going to come up with a flat back. If this does not work for your low back, you can come up supported, rolling up. Everyone else, inhale, push into your feet, chest forward, hips back. Start lifting your arms, keep pressing into your feet. Press into your feet, squeeze those sit bone muscles so you're supporting the spine to stand up. Exhale, hands at heart center. We're going to come down that same way unless rolling down works for you. So rolling down, your arms are slack, you're bending the knees and you're rolling down using your blocks for support. But if your back felt okay, flat, we're doing this version. Arms up, hips back, bend the knees. Exhale, come into this modified forward fold, hips way back, until your belly and perhaps your chest start touching your thighs. Then bring the hands on the blocks somewhere near your feet, beside your feet. Then step, inhale, lunge, step your left foot back. Pad your left knee if you need to. The knee is down. Inhale, telescope the ribs up. Plank, exhale, hands down first on the floor. Step back. Lower the knees, then lower all the way down, pulling the belly in the whole way down. Low cobra, hands forward 12 inches. Inhale, pull the ribs forward, elbows 2 inches off the floor. Pull the ribs forward, lower down. Exhale, down dog. Lunge, inhale, step your left foot forward. Grab your blocks. Sink your hips forward and down. Press into your right foot. Inhale deeply. Forward fold with those bent knees. Tuck the back toes. Exhale. Lightly step forward. Keep your hips way back. Keep the knees over the ankles as much as is possible. Coming up, either rolling up or this modified flat back. Arms out for the flat back. Push into your feet, squeeze those sit bone muscles. Inhale, push into your feet and squeeze those sit bone muscles, stand up. Exhale, hands at heart center. Gonna do that a little faster. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, knees bent, chest forward, hips back. Lunge, inhale, step your right foot back, hands on the blocks. Then, if you have further to go, hands on your thighs or up overhead. Press into your feet. Move the blocks off to the side. Exhale, plank. Inhale, lower the knees. Pull the belly in, pull the front bottom ribs in. Exhale, lower down. Keep squeezing your sit bone muscles down the backs of the thighs. Low cobra. Inhale, drag the ribs forward. Drag the ribs forward, lower down. Hands beneath the shoulders. Exhale, down dog. Lunge, inhale, lightly step your right foot forward. Grab your blocks if that feels good, or bring the hands on your thigh or up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Bend the knees, rest your chest on the thighs. Either roll up or come up in this modified standing up. Chest forward. Push into your feet, squeeze your sit bone muscles. Inhale, keep pressing into the feet to stand up. Exhale, hands at heart center. Great. Be serious with some standing poses. We're going to come into warrior one. Step your, well, hands on the hips first. Make sure you have enough space behind you so that you can step back about 3 feet. Step your right foot back about 3 feet. Then assess your right hamstring. If it's tweaky, you're bending the knee a little bit or a lot. I'm gonna turn this way so you see me sideways. Or your right heel is on the floor. The right toes face the right front corner of your mat. Press into both feet. Hands stay on the hips. Inhale, telescope your ribs up. Exhale, squeeze your right sit bone muscle down the back of the right thigh, sliding the tailbone down a little bit. Feel with your hands, especially the thumbs that are sort of on your back. Feel how it lengthens your low back. Press into your active feet. Spread and lift the front toes, spread the back toes. Inhale into the side ribs, lifting those ribs away from the waist. Exhale, squeeze your sit bone muscles. Pull your belly in a little bit. So you're using your abdominal muscles and the strong buttock muscles to support your spine. And as you support your spine, use your breath to make space along your back, along the spine, and in your spot. Warrior One variation with the back knee bent. Keep the hands on the hips. Hop your right foot forward about 1 inch. Bend the knee. The knee, if possible, is right underneath the right hip. The right heel is lifted towards the ceiling. Press into both feet. The left knee stays over the left ankle. Press into your hands. Inhale, telescope the ribs up. Exhale, squeeze your right sit bone muscle down the back of the right thigh, and especially here, feel how that slides the tailbone down, and it actually adjusts your spine in a way that allows you to more easily telescope the ribs up. So feel that here. Press into your hands. Inhale into your side ribs, telescope the ribs up. Exhale, push into your feet, squeeze your sit bone muscles. And smooth out your breath, especially if your right leg starts shaking. You're doing the work. Then straighten your right leg. Hop your right foot or just step it forward. The other side, step your left foot back about 3 feet. Heel on the floor or heel lifted, the knee bent a little bit. Hips are even with the front of your mat. The hands on your hips are helpful so you can feel that. Squeeze the left sit bone muscle down the back of the left thigh. Inhale, telescope the ribs up. Exhale, squeeze your left sit bone muscle more, slide the tailbone down. Feel for lengthening your low back. Then from there, inhale into your side ribs, telescoping the bottom ribs, then the mid ribs, then the top ribs up away from the waist. Exhale, push into your feet. Spread your breath through the back bottom ribs. Warrior One variation with the back knee bent. Hop your left foot forward 1 inch. Bend the knee, knee directly underneath the hip, heel up. Push into your hands. If your wrists start getting tweaky, an option is fists, with this part of the fist beside your sacrum. Inhale, pushing into the hands, telescope the ribs up. Exhale, squeeze that left sit bone muscle down the back of the left thigh. Inhale spaciously into your side ribs. Exhale, pull the belly in slightly so you can really squeeze that left sit bone muscle, support your spine. straighten your left leg. Then slide both feet to face the left side of your mat, coming into a straddle. You might have to adjust your feet. Your feet can be anywhere from 3 feet to about 4 feet, depending on how long your legs are. And we're moving into horse stance, so rotate the toes out, 45-degree angle, bend the knees. Hands on your thighs for a back traction. Straighten your arms, shoulders hike up. Inhale, telescope the ribs up. Exhale, squeeze your sit bone muscles, send your tailbone towards the floor. And you might feel how that allows you to sink your sit bones down towards the floor a little more. If you'd like a twist and your low back can tolerate this, not great for disc injuries. Left hand on the middle of your thigh. Inhale, push into it to send your chest in the direction of the right thigh, twisting. Relax your neck. Push into your right arm. Inhale, come back up through center, twist in the other direction. Exhale, relax your neck. For wrist tweakiness, you could bring your left forearm on the left thigh. Inhale, first come back up through center. Push into your feet strongly. Inhale, stand up. Parallel, well, no, keep the feet wide. We're moving into warrior two. Rotate your left toes to face the front of the mat. Bend the knee, warrior two. Shoulder shrugs. Spread your breath into the upper back. Hold the breath. Shrug the shoulders straight up. Exhale, squeeze back and drag down your back. Balloon your breath spaciously into the upper back. Exhale, squeeze straight back without pushing your front ribs forward. Squeeze straight back. Exhale, drag down the back. Saturate your upper back with your breath. Exhale, squeeze bottom tips of shoulder blades. Squeeze into back bottom ribs. Squeeze and drag down the back. Relax your arms for another round. Breathe into the upper back. Hold the breath. Shrug the shoulders up, squeeze back. Exhale, squeeze and drag down your back. Balloon breath into your upper back. Exhale, squeeze straight back. Squeeze, drag down your back. Spaciously send your breath into your upper back. Exhale, squeeze bottom tips of shoulder blades. Add your elbows, squeeze and drag down your back. Archer warrior two. It will be your right arm up, externally rotating, bending at the elbow. You could stay here for half archer arm with the left hand on the outside of your right elbow. And you're giving it a little isometric squeeze. Left hand squeezes into the elbow squeezes out to the right. If you have further to go, the left arm bends back and down. You could grab clothing, your hands, if your shoulders are really open, or this is where you can grab a strap or a scarf. Goes over your right shoulder. Lift your chin up. Slide the back of the skull straight back. And for many of you, that might be pushing a little bit into your right arm. Don't push the arm into your head. Inhale through the back ribs, bottom, mid, and top. Lift those ribs up. Exhale, squeeze your sit bone muscles to slide your tailbone towards the floor. Release. Bring both hands to frame your front foot, coming into down dog. Step your right foot forward, warrior two, shoulder shrugs. I'm mirroring you. Relax your arms. Squeeze your sit bone muscles. Breathe into the upper back. Hold the breath. Shrug the shoulders up. Squeeze straight back. Exhale, squeeze. Drag the shoulder blades down the back. Don't let your chin come forward. Breathe into the upper back. Exhale, squeeze straight back without your front ribs coming forward. Squeeze and drag down the back. Get your abdominal muscles supporting the spine. Balloon your breath into the upper back. Exhale, squeeze bottom tips of shoulder blades. Add your elbows. Squeeze and drag down your back. Another round. Send your breath into the upper back. Hold the breath. Shrug the shoulders up. Squeeze straight back. Exhale, squeeze and drag down your back. Saturate the upper back with breath. Make space with your breath. Exhale, squeeze straight back. Squeeze, drag down your back. Breathe into the upper back. Exhale, squeeze bottom tips of shoulder blades. Add your elbows. Squeeze and drag down your back. Archer Warrior 2, this time it's the left arm. Externally rotate so the armpit opens up wide, then bend the elbow. You have half archer arms as an option, or bring the right arm down, bend at the elbow, grab your hands, your clothing, or grab your strap. It's easiest if you put your strap on your left shoulder and then grab it from there. Breathe into the part of your back that your hands or the strap is touching. And as you exhale, rinse the breath there and spread it out so that it starts getting more and more spacious and starts making space in your back, even if that's not your spot. Then as you inhale, connect the space that you just created, even if it's a tiny bit. Breathe in there, feel it, and then connect it into your spot. Exhale the breath out, feeling for swirling it in and around your spot, and let that swirl get wider and wider so that you're creating space in and around your spot. Unwind your arms. Bring both hands to frame your right foot. Exhale back into down dog. Relax your neck. Wrap your shoulder blades towards the armpits. Press into the hands so you can lift the weight of your shoulders off of the upper arm bones. Breathe in along your back and feel, in particular, in your spot. Exhale, rinse your breath around your back and in your spot, feeling for any shifts and changes in your spot and even around your whole back. And then gently bring the knees to the floor. Sit up first, then lie on your back for Shavasana. Options for Shavasana. You can always stay seated. If lying down doesn't work for you, or you could bring your calves onto furniture, a mattress, a couch, or a chair, as long as your hips can be somewhat close to your furniture. If you're on your back, you could have your feet as wide as your mat and knock your knees together or towards each other. If you feel really spacious and it feels comfortable on your low back, straighten your legs. Once you get there, if your low back is lifting away from the floor a lot, bend your knees a little bit, press into your heels, inhale, scoop the tailbone towards the back of the knees, flatten your back as much as you can, and then re-straighten your legs. Everyone, spread your arms, or the hands could rest somewhere on your torso, on your belly. One hand could be on your chest, one hand on the belly. Whatever feels good for you. But make sure that your shoulder blades Slide away from the ears. You feel relaxed through the whole spine and in the shoulders, the neck, and the jaw. Let your deep breath go. Allow your automatic breath to take over. And if you'd like a longer Shavasana, stop the video right here, set a timer for 5 minutes or 10 minutes, and then you can rejoin the video or just take yourself out of Shavasana. Slowly bring your attention back to your whole body. Take a deep feeling breath, a spacious breath. Fill your whole core with that breath. Rinse the deepness, the spaciousness of your own breath through every cell of your body. Bring in that spaciousness everywhere in your body. Take another deep, luxurious breath. And then bend your knees, bring the soles of the feet to the floor, and pause. Roll over to one side. Let yourself really sink into the support of the floor, get heavy. Then use the strength of your arms, press into your hands to inhale. Lift your torso up, letting your head be heavy, neck relaxed the whole way up. Then once you're upright, take your bottom hand on the cheek and lift the weight of your head back over the spine. Find your comfortable seated position and come back into your Ujjayi breath if you haven't already. Take a deep, spacious breath and connect it into your spot. Feel. Luxuriously rinse your exhale in and around your spot so that you really luxuriate in whatever you feel in your spot. Any space that you created, any more softness, just a deeper connection, a deeper breath. All of these things are great things to luxuriate in and really feel. Bring your hands in front of your heart. Take a deep, spacious breath in. Namaste. Happy day. Enjoy the rest of your day, whatever part of your day is left for you. And take this feeling of connecting to your breath in a very spacious way into the rest of your day. Even if it's the end of the day, that's okay. Take it into the rest of your day. Thank you.